Hello and welcome back to Brentford Fan TV. In this video we'll be looking at the Bournemouth game tomorrow, but first we'll have a look back at our game against Villa, and what were your thoughts on the game?
It wasn't a good game, to be honest. It was a game where we had a decent amount of possession, but did very little with it. You know, Villa, they were better than us in the first half, probably. Second half was ours, but then they always had the counter-attack threat, whereas we had very little threat at all the entire game. And so, it's a very disappointing game.
Yes.
And it's fair to say that the season is over now.
Yeah.
Really.
But I thought the game was quite frustrating, how we had all that possession in the second half and didn't create any good chances from it. I feel like we need to shoot more and even get in more attacking areas and everything. But yeah, I also thought first half we should have really counter-attacked, because I remember them playing a really high line.
Yeah.
And it would seem like the perfect opportunity.
It feels like we just sort of need a bit more urgency with the way we play.
Yeah.
Especially in the second, in both halves, but especially in the second half when we have good possession. We need the urgency to sort of get in the box, create chances, and go on and win a game.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I said season over, it's like we're 4 points off ninth place, and so we won't really get Europe. We're not going to get relegated. We're going to finish mid-table. We're out of all trophies. There's just nothing really to play for anymore.
No, and it gets to that sort of time this season.
Yeah.
Quite strange games where both teams have nothing to play for. More later in the season it gets like that. But for now, there's a lot of teams fighting for stuff.
Yeah.
But it seems like we're just sat in the middle.
That's very true of when we played Bournemouth last season. Second last game of the season, neither team had anything to play for at that point.
Yeah.
But playing Bournemouth this season, they're playing for Europe. We play Fulham, Brighton coming up. They're all playing for Europe. Well. We're playing Newcastle away. They've got Europe to play for, and so we've got nothing really to play for now. But the teams we're playing, if we manage to beat all of them, we'd probably get Europe. But realistically, we probably won't, and so we don't really have too much to play for. I think sort of already admitting defeat from us. It sort of reflects what we see from our manager, almost, because it feels like sometimes Thomas Frank lacks ambition. Yeah, but it
also sometimes feel like we're quite ambitious. But at the moment, as you said, it feels like less ambitious.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I said that is a quote from Thomas Frank. I think after the Villa game, he said, just after losing 1-0, he said, to finish mid-table Brentford is amazing. And he says, like, when you consider finances and this and that. And then you compare that, though, to Bournemouth. They just drew 2-2 Spurs away, and Iraola's furious. He wanted to win that game. And so it shows a bit of a mentality change or difference between Bournemouth, who are in a similar position in terms of the team to Brentford.
They are a bit higher up there in the table.
Yeah, but if you look at the team, though, their team's not much better than ours. And they're higher in the table. They seem to have more ambition, and I'm like, is it sort of stuff behind the scenes that's sort of feeding onto the players that sort of, pushes them on further to be better? I don't know.
Maybe.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I think it was a bit frustrating to see Thomas Frank say it's an amazing season to finish mid-table. When we sort of went out of the cups early, didn't really do well in any of that.
Yeah.
And we were a part of this sort of mid-table pack that's pushing for Europe. Like these mid-table teams pushing for Europe, like I said, us, sort of Fulham, Brighton, Bournemouth, even Newcastle to an extent. But we just fell off of it, and it's sort of a bit annoying as a fan.
But I somewhat understand it, but within the context of last season, this is a much better finish. But we also had riddled of injuries. But in previous seasons, we've pushed higher. It's just in the recent years, it seems to not have gone our way.
Yeah, I do think. I mean, obviously, we have had terrible injuries this season. Like our record signing for 30 million, the striker Igor Thiago. We've only seen him play a handful of times due to injury. We haven't seen Gustavo Nunes. We still haven't had Hickey or Rico all season, albeit for maybe like one substitute appearance.
Yeah, we have one Rico Henry appearance.
Yeah, and so you know what? we're like really badly affected by injuries, a lot worse than every other team in the league, in my opinion. Which I don't know.
Yeah.
Other people won't believe, but I genuinely believe that. But
yeah, because there have been teams that have had more at one time had more injuries, but no team has had the same consistency of injuries as us. I think.
Yeah.
And it's just.
Yeah, Spurs, to be fair, had it very bad for a while. I'll admit that.
Yeah.
But like even Man United, people say they've got terrible injuries, but they've got a bigger squad that can deal with it. Whereas when we have masses of injuries, all we have now pretty much every game is the starting 11 and like a Ben Mee on the bench. That's what we had to deal with for most of the season. And so we've struggled through a difficult time, and so I do understand now. Maybe Thomas Frank saying it's amazing to finish mid-table in the Premier League, but we sort of, as fans, we want to push on because it's not like we're ever out of any game. Every game we play in, we're always in. And we always leave thinking we should have got more than we did. And so, you know what? We're not far off it, but maybe next season, we're turning into Arsenal, maybe next season we'll push for Europe.
But I do feel like this, it's still amazing that we're getting Premier League football every season, I think.
Yeah,
to think about 4 or 5 seasons ago.
Yeah, we did grow up watching League One football at the end of the day. So.
But moving on to Bournemouth, they're not in the greatest form. 1 win in their last 5 games. How many? I think 2 or 3 of them been draws though.
Yeah, I think they've drawn their last few games, and then there was maybe 1 or 2 losses, and then maybe 5 games ago was their last win, something like that. But they're not in great form for a team that are as high up in the table as they are. And funnily enough, their 5th last loss was to us, which shows how good of a season they're having, which is a long time ago. And I remember that game. It was a very good game. Damsgaard got his goal. There was really good build-up from Wissam out in the final goal that won us the game.
Yes.
And I remember it was like the last sort of 10 minutes of that game, we just thought we were going to concede. Because I think we were just off the back of maybe a Fulham loss or something, and a couple other last-minute losses.
Yeah.
And so we really thought we were going to concede late on, but we managed to hold out in that game. And it's one of our best wins this season, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it was so long ago.
Yeah, and it was one of the first games we played that 4-4-2 sort of system. And I think we'll talk a bit more about that later.
Yeah.
After a bit more about Bournemouth.
It's possibly the first game where we actually played Keenan Spotter at left back.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but it might be. Let's go on to our injuries. And so Sepp van den Berg should be back, involved in the game after a week of training. Coyote is unlikely to be in the squad. Carvalho won't be in the squad, having dislocated his shoulder.
Yeah, also having had surgery
on it.
Yeah, which means he is likely to be back near the end of the season, which, to be fair, is not long away now.
It makes me think, what are we doing in training?
Yeah.
Why is he dislocating his shoulder?
How are we getting so many injuries this consistently?
I know.
There's probably a reason for it within the club that just hasn't been figured out yet.
Yeah, it's terrible. Hickey should be back soon. He's played on grass, and so it seems he's not far away. But I think I saw he won't be in the squad.
He played and scored an under-21s match back in the end of February. So hopefully it'll be soon, his return.
Yeah, and then Rico Henry is back in full training. Whatever that means. Is that them saying on the grass? Is that saying in full training? We never know the terms that they come up with.
I've heard that he's unlikely to be in the squad this weekend, but possibly for the next game against Newcastle.
Very nice.
Is it Newcastle next?
I don't know. I know there's an international break, so it's quite far away.
So it is a lot. Yeah, he probably will be back for the Newcastle game.
Yeah, it could be crazy. We could have 1 million players back for that Newcastle game. It would be like an actual bench, not just like Ben Mee and a bunch of kids.
Yeah, it would be like having 5 new signings or whatever.
Genuinely, if we can start next season injury-free, apart from maybe De Silva, if we do keep him, he's always injured.
It's a shame though, he's such a good player.
I know, but we could genuinely, we could go for the title.
No, but the European possibilities could be more likely than ever before.
Definitely. Let's go on to our predicted 11. I'll start us off. In goal, Flecken. no complaints there. And a back line we're going of Ayer, Collins, Pinnock, and Keeler Spotter. Obviously, Vandenberg should be back in the team, but he
Probably
won't
be on the bench.
Yeah, he wouldn't get rushed straight back in. And so no complaints there for me.
No, none from me either.
Then in the midfield, we're going Jensen, Norgard, Janhout. That would be bringing in Jensen for Janhout from last game. Jensen, Norgard, Damsgaard, I meant to say. That would be bringing in Jensen for Janhout from the previous game, sort of giving him a rest. I also believe that is our best midfield, the Danish trio.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think there are possibilities of Jensen being swapped for Janhout just for a bit more defence cover, but I feel like in this game, the attacking option would be really good.
Yeah, and then a front three of Mbeumo with Teixeira.
Yes.
And now, obviously, I'm not going to complain there, but I think there is a possibility, very slight possibility, that Schade would be benched for Jensen or Janhout, and so then we're playing three midfielders, and Keeler Spotter can sort of have more of an attacking threat from left back up to left wing, because I think that's what we did last time we played Bournemouth when we won 3-2.
And also that 4-4-2 system with the four central midfielders, Keeler Spotter pushing up a bit more. That was what we played in our last home win as well against Newcastle, which has been a while. But
yeah, I mean we played Thiago in that game, right?
Yeah, I think we did.
I thought he had a great influence on that game.
It did.
He was a handful for some good Newcastle defenders, and he really just created space for the likes of Wissa and Mbeumo.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was years ago, the last home win. I think it's time to go into our score predictions.
Yes.
I'll go first, and I think we're going to draw 1-1 against Bournemouth away.
That's a fair prediction, I think. I would say I've gone quite rogue with my prediction. I was just thinking back to our last game against them, and around that time we had loads of high scoring games where we won by like one goal. So I've gone with a 4-3 win to us, and I don't know why, because we've improved defensively a lot since then, but also we've been scoring a bit less as well. So
yeah.
I don't know why I've gone with this prediction.
You know what? I'd love to see it happen.
Yeah. Because I've decided instead of just overthinking my predictions, I'm just going to think of a scoreline that might happen.
Yeah.
And just go with the first thing.
Fair enough. I mean, last time we played them, and when we played them the second last game of last season, Solanke should have had a hat-trick. So there's the 3 for Bournemouth. It's just...
He's now at Spurs, though.
Can we score 4 against Bournemouth?
I don't think... I predicted it. So
last time we played in the South Coast, we scored 5. So why not?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's been a bit of a shambles. I think it's time to end the video.
Yes, goodbye. If you want to watch one of our videos, maybe a vlog, and see you in the next one.